Hey guys, and welcome to this new video about Vorkath mechanics and optimization. Today I want to talk about 4 different points. This video is going to be about mechanics of the boss, the gear, along with some DPS calculation, the fight, and some optimization you can do at the fight, and an eventual conclusion. If you look at the video, you can see that I'm using Void, along with Bandos Godsword and the Saf Amulet, so this is going to be for off-task, but I'm also using an Armadillo set. And there's a good reason why I'm using this set. I'll explain it more clearly at the DPS calculation, along with some reasoning during the actual fight and the optimization. But the focus of the video is going to be about mechanics and optimization. Vorkath is surprisingly linear. After he wakes up, he'll do 6 auto attacks into one of his special moves. And his special moves are Poison Pool and Freeze Spawn. This number you see on the screen is the amount of auto attacks Vorkath has done. And after the 6th auto, the first special he does is always the Poison Pool. So after this attack, the 6th auto attack, you should see the Poison Pool. There it is. The poison that spawns on the ground damages you and also heals Vorkath for the exact amount of damage done. You can walk away from his fireballs by just walking. You do not have to run. And as long as you are walking back and forth, you will avoid the damage. The alternative you can do is you can still attack Vorkath during the Poison Pool special, which is commonly known as the Wook's Walk. I'll show it here. But recently, in the latest change to Vorkath, Jagex nerfed this move, and now it only does about 40% of your damage. So after that special is done, he'll again do 6 auto attacks. We're on 2 auto attacks, I believe now. This is 3. This is going to be 4. So 2 more auto attacks, and after this he's going to do his freeze special. Freeze/spawn special. I believe that was 6, and that's the freeze special. He summons a spawn that you have to crumble dead. And that's pretty much it. That is the pattern of Vorkath. He'll do 6 auto attacks into his special moves, and this pattern just repeats. It's going to alternate between poison and the freeze move. And the other thing I shortly want to discuss are his auto attacks. So these are all of Vorki's auto attacks. I'll start top left. This is Vorki's prayer disable attack. It doesn't hit very hard, but what it does is disable your active prayers. And here in the middle top you have Vorki's fireball. This attack actually hurts quite a lot, and you have to be at least there has to be at least 1 tile in between to avoid the attack. I think this attack can hit up to 99 plus. I'm not really sure. Top right we have his venom attack, which is the reason why we bring Serpentine Helm or the anti-venom pot. Doesn't hit very hard. Then here in bottom left, this is Vorki's range attack. This is the most annoying one. This one is going to hit you for 30s. 32 is the max hit, I believe. Very accurate hit. Bottom middle is his mage attack. This one won't be any trouble considering we're mage praying all the whole fight. And bottom right is his. This is a standard dragon fire attack, same as KVD or any other non-chromatic dragon. With just an anti-fire pot it hits 15, and with a super anti-fire pot it hits 0, but honestly an anti-fire pot is usually enough. Now that we've examined Vorkath's mechanics, which again to summarize, 6 auto attacks into a special, first one is a pool, then 6 auto attacks to his free spawn, and that cycle repeats. Let's actually look at gear and DPS calculation. This section is pretty long. If you're only interested in the conclusion, skip ahead. You can click here to skip ahead. Anyway, if you are interested, let's begin. So the first thing I want to talk about is the comparison between Bandos Godsword and Dragon Warhammer. And I'll put a little calculation on the screen that shows you why you should use a Bandos Godsword and not a Dragon Warhammer. I'll also link to a Reddit post which explains in detail why Bandos Consort on average is going to be better. And the value we have to remember is that the average defense reduction of a BGS is going to be around roughly 62. In any case, let's begin. I'll put this number over here. First of all, if we're going to be using a BGS, the first thing that comes to mind is like, hey, should I be using Bandos or should I be using Elite Void? Now, it turns out Elite Void is better, simply because the spec max hit is 81, which doesn't change with full max strength bonus of Void, and the accuracy of Void is actually slightly better. Suppose we have Infernal Capes. We've done that. I personally don't have one. I've been slacking. Then we see that Void is still better. So even if you have an Infernal Cape, just use Void. Now, assuming that the BGS is better than the Dragon Warhammer because it reduces defense more on average, let's actually examine the Blowpipe set. Why are we using Armadillo and not Void? So what's the reason why I'm using an Armadillo set with a Blowpipe? Well, first of all, if we compare this set, so this is going to be Blowpipe with Armadillo, South Amulet obviously, in comparison to melee set, we see that this max strength melee set with a Serpentine and full Bandos and a Samurai King Hasta is about 5.6 versus 8. That's a massive difference. Blowpipe is a lot better. Let's say we increase our DPS on melee, we can do that by adding a Dragon Defender. Let's say we actually have an Infernal Cape. You'll see that the DPS is still, it hovers around 6.6. It never really breaks that 7 barrier. And this is Adamant Darts. I mean, Blowpipe could even increase the DPS by a full 1 if you were to be using Dragon Darts. But let's say we're kind of the average guy. We don't really have Dragon Darts, or we're not willing to waste like 3k per shot. What happens if we adjust the defense value? Because as we just discussed, the average defense reduction is about 60 or 62. So I'm going to do 214 minus 62, 152. I'm really bad at mentals. But here we have Vorkath. This is his defensive level, which can be reduced by Dragon Warhammer or BGS. On average, that's going to drop per Vorkath to 152. We see that the Blowpipe is still better in melee. What if by some miracle we drop it all the way to 0, which is not good? Well, it's sort of possible if you let the fight drag out. We see that Blowpipe is still better. Token 72 versus 11. It gets closer, but you know, it's still better. And let's say by some miracle, some impossibility, Vorkath's defense goes up to 999. We see that the Blowpipe is still better. So the defensive value of Vorkath does not matter. Blowpipe will always beat the Hasta under any circumstance. So now let's compare Armadillo to Void, which is also a very interesting set, I believe. So I'm just going to change this to Void. Void. This is Void. Yes, this is Void. Again, Armadillo is better, but we know that because Void is mostly percentage based, it's going to be better as the defense drops more. So we have to find a sort of value where Void actually becomes better. Now again, this number 152 is going to be the average. So let's say again Vorkath is on average on 152. We see, and this is an interesting one, we see that Void is better, but if you look at the damage per second average, this only counts for your boost being at 112. Everything below that, so if your boost drops after 30 seconds to 111, well, unless you're using Preserve, the DPS average is going to be in favor of Armadillo. So if, and this is kind of considering averages of averages of averages, we should say that on average that Armadillo is going to be the more consistent one. But Void is going to be the one you want to use if your defense reduction average was higher than 62, which it's not, it's 62. If you're going for fast times, let's say you get a really good hit, let's say you hit your BGS hits an 81 plus an 81. I know this is 162, but 214 minus 162 is 52, yeah. So 52. This is an insane BGS special. You'll see that Void becomes disgustingly good. And if you up it with something like Dragon Darts, the difference becomes even more. If you are going for fast times, you should be using Void. If you want consistency and a better average, you should be using Armadillo. Now that we know all of Fork's mechanics and we know which gear to use, let's actually look at a kill and examine what we can do to improve our time. So first of all, we start with BGS specs. If you've been keeping track, this is attack number 3, and this is auto attack number 4. After the 6th auto attack, he's gonna do the poison, and I'm gonna prepare for that by walking. So I'm gonna attack, attack, walk, attack. That sequence where you attack, attack, walk, attack after his 6th auto attack is the max amount of regular hits you can get in on Vorkath without them being reduced. If you can one tick BP walk, you should. It's the most optimal. But with the reduction in damage, it's only about 50 damage missed per poison phase. The next improvement comes from dodging Vorkath's fireball that he spits up into the air. What you should do is when you run from the position where he's going to fireball you to the next position, you should do it in a way that you do not lose any ticks on your blowpipe attacks. And you can actually get in 2 attacks before you have to run, as seen in this clip, so you should be absolutely fearless. Do not be afraid. You can get in 2 attacks and then run away. The next big improvement comes from inventory and food management. So since we now know that every 6 auto attacks Vorkath's gonna do special, in this clip, after this poison special is done, we're gonna count and see how much damage we take. So that's 1, that's 2, that is 3, that's a lot of fireballs, that's 4, this one's gonna hit. I'm not gonna eat. Why is that? Because I know that after his poison special is going to be the free special. I have all the time in the world to eat 2 manta rays and to crumble undead to spawn and then attack again. And this is a big time saver. If you only eat during his specials, you'll save a lot of time. And this is the thing I see people do. I want to say incorrect most of the time, is because you do not actually have to eat during his auto attacks, knowing that he's going to do a special after 6 attacks will eat. And I kind of mess up the walking here, but okay. In any case, the whole point of trying to min-max your food and trying to conserve food, because that's what you're doing at the end of the game, you're trying to conserve as much food as possible and not eating during his auto attacks, you'll end up with more food left, meaning that you can just go back to, I don't know, I only use 4 mantas now, go back to whichever place you used to restore your stats and whatever way you used to teleport back to Vorkath, you can just do more trips per inventory. And that saves time on banking. So to summarize the optimization, what you should try to do is try to optimize the amount of attacks you can get in during his poison special. The other thing you can try to do is optimize your attacks during his fireball that he spits up, so that you can get consistent hits. And the last thing you should definitely do is to manage your inventory, the amount of food you eat during his auto attacks. Try to minimize that, and try to only eat during his freeze spawn special or his poison walk special. Well guys, in conclusion, to summarize the whole thing, it seems to me that the most optimal spec weapon is the Bandos Godsword along with a Void melee set. And for ranging, it seems to be that the Blowpipe is the best DPS weapon against Vorkath. And if you're going to range, you should definitely use Armadillo as opposed to Void range, because it's the most consistent damage dealer and is going to do the most, well, we could say the most damage on average. And that's pretty much it. That's Vorkath. Hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I did making it. And I'll see you guys whenever I unlazy myself and feel like making another video. See you!